Okay, we're live. Day 2. What are the Rams going to do? This is RamView.
It's hot out there. Well, let's blow them off the line of scrimmage. Hang on,
Live from the Ram Cave, I'm Joe Terosian, and this is RamView, the April 28th, 2023 edition, brought to you by Kistler Law Firm. Injured in an auto accident? Need help? Got questions? Call Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. That's Kistler Law at 661-206-6990. And check out KistlerLawFirm.com. That's one word, KistlerLawFirm.com. Kistler Law, they've been fighting for you since 92. And by Temple City Auto Repair. Having some auto issues? Get yourselves some John and Henry at TempleCityAutoRepair.com. Day 1 is in the books of the draft. And it was a fun night, right? I got about 10 things I want to make, 10 points I want to make, a couple of things to say, and I'm going to get off the air. I'm hoping to be done in about 15 minutes. This will be a short episode tonight or today because, hey, there's just a lot of stuff happening, and the longer you wait, the older, the more stale the news and information goes. I'm getting a text right here from the Steeler fan in Missouri, Rob Sorge, who's telling me that the Rams are trying to move up for Joey Porter Jr. at number 32. I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that at all. There's a lot of players that dropped into the second round. I got something on my glasses here. Hold on a second. But there are 10 points I want to make, and I'm going to start with this one. First, that was probably the most entertaining first night of the NFL draft ever, at least in the last 10 years. I'm more of a draft starting on Saturday morning guy. First 3 rounds on Saturday, last few rounds on Sunday. And that's how I'm built. But yeah, for a red carpet night, the Hollywoodification, the Babylonian effect on the NFL, I thought it was the most entertaining first night with the trades and some of the narratives that weren't necessarily around, someone coming from some horrible background, but just some of the narratives, the CJ Stroud narrative. Basically, you're stupid, right? We're basically, people are accusing him of being stupid. And yet, after everything everyone said, the Houston Texans took him number 1 in their draft, number 2 overall. So I thought it was a great draft. The Cardinals trading back, Cardinals trading forward, Lions doing some weird stuff, Taxkins doing some weird stuff. But it was an entertaining first round. And then you add to that the Lamar Jackson situation. And so, yeah, it was an entertaining first round of the draft. The second point I want to make is there was sure a lot of God talk last night, right? Those first 4 draft picks, man, the families were just saying, God is good, God is faithful, God keeps his promises, all glory to God. Now, I'm not saying every one of those people align theologically with each other or even with me, but I know you do know how the KBM operates. The KBM is absolutely terrified of God talk, right? And they are terrified, and I always love seeing the maneuvering that tries to tries to work itself out there. Seeing the KBM media work around God talk is like watching RG3 make a coherent point. I'll get to RG3 later. But there was a lot of God talk, and I just thought that was really, really interesting. The third point was there was a lot of mocks that blew up pretty quick. I mean, usually you have a mock draft or you have a prediction or something, and you like to get through the first 2 or 3 picks, and then everything falls apart. But with all the mocks that took place, I think it was outside, was it Bucky Brooks maybe? Everyone had CJ Stroud falling, dropping, and all that kind of stuff. And then the Texans take CJ Stroud, and then they make that great deal with the Cardinals, and and the Cardinals, and they take the third pick overall, and they draft Will Anderson, and they just really put their stamp on it. I know a lot of people are talking the Eagles draft picks because of Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. I still think first round belonged to the Houston Texans because I think there's more certainty with C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson than there is with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith. So that one was pretty interesting. Just seeing all the speculation. Mel Kiper, Rams are going to trade up to number 31 to take Hendon Hooker, and Will Levis is going to go inside the top 10, and all those draft predictions just kind of blew up. And it's not like anything didn't happen. A lot of stuff happened, just nothing happened the way people thought it was going to happen, even the experts, which is another reason I was surprised. I posted a couple things last night or yesterday, and I fully expected to take heat. I did a radical mock draft where I had the Rams trading away Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee and accumulating a bunch of picks. And I had a couple people say I was an idiot, but I didn't have as many as I thought would say I was an idiot. But I was surprised how many fellow Ram fans call other Ram fans idiot, or they take the pseudo intellectual high approach of, oh, I trust the GM. They know what they're doing. They know it better than you do. Really? Really? The experts know better than you? They drafted Greg Robinson, the Rams did. Somebody really screwed up in this draft. We're going to find out. Mel Kiper's only job all year is to assess the draft. Bucky Brooks' job, Daniel Jeremiah, their whole goal here is to assess the draft, and nobody got it right last night. Nobody. And so feel free with your opinions to share your opinions. I was a sports writer for 21 years. People paid me to write about sports. I've written thousands of stories about football, but I'm still wrong sometimes, right? Quite often we're wrong. Your opinions matter, and don't let some troll on the internet or anybody, even in the media, come back and say, what do you know? Because they don't know either. They just don't know. And I will say this as we head into the fourth point I want to make is the Rams are a third place team. As soon as I just felt this sick feeling fall over me when Jackson Smith Najigba went to the Seahawks, and I'm thinking they got Walker at running back. They invested in their offensive line and scored 2 tackles last year, and now they're going to run out there Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Smith Najigba. They're going to run them out there, all 3 of them. And I thought, who are the Rams going to run out there? Who? And I looked at it, I'm just like, this is a third place team. There is no way. Now, Geno Smith might not be better than he was last year, but he's certainly not going to be much worse. And the team around him is just too good. And then they went and drafted another shutdown corner. So between Tariq Woolen and Devon Witherspoon, this team's set, and they got their safety set. They brought Bobby Wagner back, who we know can still play. They still need some help in the interior, maybe on the edge. But the Seahawks are a good team. Rams aren't going to beat them. Rams aren't going to replace them. Maybe we squeeze out a victory. I don't know, but they're not going to beat them. And the Frisco's a good team. They're a real good team. And so this is a third place team. And I truly believe the Rams blew this up way too soon, because Frisco is still in quarterback flux right now in 2023, right? There was room to compete with Frisco. This Seattle team is going to be good this year, but by 2024, they're going to be competing for an NFL title. Same thing. By 2024, Frisco's going to have its quarterback situation worked out. These are just two franchises that are too well run to not figure it out. The Cardinals, we could just push them off to the side, right? We don't have to worry about the Cardinals. And my feeling is, again, as I shared it at the start of the offseason, the Rams blew up this team way too soon. Jalen Ramsey has indicated he was willing to restructure. You could have got Cooper Kupp to restructure. You could have kept Ramsey in-house. You could have figured out a way to maybe keep Leonard Floyd in-house, maybe let Wagner walk back, and maybe let your D lineman walk out. but you could have figured out a way to keep this team together and competing. But as of right now, 45 guys on the roster, 10 likely starters with less than 14 years of experience, and you're going to line up against the Seahawks and the 49ers right now and expect to compete in this division? Don't tell me this isn't a rebuild. Don't try to sell it beyond me, because these teams are going to be better in 2024. And honestly, that's why the Rams need to be looking at 2025. Again, I don't know where they went wrong. If you didn't believe you had an extra year in you beyond 2022, why on earth did you extend Matthew Stafford? Why on earth did you extend Aaron Donald? I just don't get it. And because the other teams, they ain't messing around. And I just don't see where the Rams are going to really compete. Third place in the NFC West. They go 0-4 against the top two teams, beat the Cardinals twice. Hey, maybe the Rams can compete for a 10-win season. I do believe everyone stays healthy. You beat everybody else. And maybe, third-place teams go to the playoffs. That's possible. But to say they're going to compete for a division title, I don't see it. And we'll figure it out. More stuff on the Rams in a minute. And the fifth takeaway I had was, I know the Texans gave up a lot, but I like what they did get back. Again, C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson are solid players that I think are going to be solid NFL guys. There's little gamble and risk with them. I know somebody said, they made that deal and they gave up the 33rd pick overall. And as a Ram fan, when someone says to me 33rd pick, I think Donnie Avery and Brian Quick. 33rd pick doesn't mean anything to me if I got Will Anderson and C.J. Stroud for 10 years. Anyway, I digress. The Texans were an interesting team before last night, and by this morning, they are must-see TV. D'Amico Ryan's going to be really interesting. He's had an influence there, but it's going to be really interesting to find out if he can coach as an HC. Not everyone's an HC. 6, I understand what the Colts are doing by taking Anthony Richardson, and I wouldn't have touched Will Levis. I still wouldn't touch Will Levis. But because Anthony Richardson fits the suit, it doesn't mean he's Jalen Hurts, right? It doesn't mean just because you get a guy that's athletic and played some quarterback, only 13 games, started in college ball, 300 dropbacks. It doesn't mean he's going to be Jalen Hurts. So I don't expect much to change in Indy this year. Honestly, by the time Anthony Richardson's ready to play, Jonathan Taylor's done, and Michael Pittman probably needs to move on. And so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think it was a good move skipping on Will Levis. At number 7, takeaway, I understood Bijan Robinson going high. What was that, 6th overall to the Falcons? I think it was a great choice. We don't draft running backs anymore in the first round, but Bijan Robinson is unique. Bijan Robinson is special, and people saw that. What I didn't understand was the Lions trading out of the 6th spot to drop to number 12 to take Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, Jahmyr Gibbs is a second rounder to me, right? Now, the Lions did pick up 34th overall, but Bijan Robinson is special, and Bijan Robinson added to that Lion offense would have been special. And Jahmyr Gibbs is good, but 12th overall, I don't get it. Good move for the Falcons. 8th takeaway, last ad, Detroit. Jack Campbell, off-ball linebacker out of Iowa. Good linebacker at number 18, right? Someone mentioned Chris Spielman last night. Were they having Chris Spielman, Mike Lucci flashbacks or something? I mean, I just don't get that draft pick. That guy should have gone 20 rounds or 20 picks later. And he's a good player, but at number 18, those off-ball linebackers don't move the needle. Rams won a Super Bowl with their off-ball linebackers, Ernest Jones and Troy Reeder. I rest my case. Number 9, did not understand the Taxkins taking Emmanuel Forbes so high at 16 and over Christian Gonzalez of Oregon. You could have waited and gotten something else. I didn't get taking Emmanuel Forbes that high, but a guy jumping from the 2nd round into the 1st round pushes other talent deeper into the draft. And so in the end, it was good for the Rams. And number 10, I am very confident about Jalen Carter's talent. I am very confident about Jalen Carter's talent. He could be Aaron Donald, right? He could be amazing. I'm just not confident about Jalen Carter himself. I mean, heading into the most critical 3 or 4 months of his life, post-college career, he botched that 10 ways to Sunday and was salvaged by the fact that he has Herculean talent. And we all know, everyone has seen this. Herculean talent does not always translate to the NFL if the dude is brain dead between the ears. And so everyone's saying, oh, the Eagles got to steal. Yeah. If Jalen Carter if Jalen Carter the person equals Jalen Carter the talent, then yeah, they're all set. But I'm not sold on Jalen Carter. I'm just not sold. And I thought it was interesting that Nolan Smith, who had the monster combine, the other Georgia guy, right? Monster combine, little production in the season, his senior year, but monster combine. People were projecting him into the top 10, right? And I think that's a great pick for the Eagles so late in the first round. What was that, 30th overall? I think that's a great pick for them. I do. But he's light. He's real light. And that was one of the things I have to say I matured on. I mean, I've watched enough football to know, but one of the things I matured on where I grew to appreciate Leonard Floyd wasn't just sack totals, but it's that strength to hold the edge on the line of scrimmage. Nolan Smith runs in about 235, 240. I'll take correction on that because my mind's blanking on his weight. And he's a great zip. He can get to the quarterback, but is he going to hold that edge? Then again, when you're running with the talent that the Eagles have, maybe they don't need him to hold the edge. Maybe he is that guy that just goes and gets the quarterback. Real quick here, I am Joe Terozzi, 21 years as sports writer. We got sponsors, Kistler Law, Temple City Auto that allow us to do this. Please check out those folks. And I spent 21 years as a sports writer. I do this now. I write books. You can find my books on Amazon. I also pastor a small church in Burbank Faith Nazarene. You can find us right here on YouTube, Burbank Faith Virtual, and check us out there. Real quick, who's still on the board? And this is where my phone keeps getting lit up here because Steeler fan in Missouri, Rob Sorge, keeps telling me the Rams are going to move up, take Joey Porter at 32. I wouldn't be upset about that in the least. But these are some of the players that are still out there. And they were first-round projections. Joey Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State. Michael Mayer, the tight end out of Notre Dame. He was leapfrogged by Dalton Kincaid, who was in my original mock draft, my first choice for the Rams at 36. And the Bills took him. Great draft choice by the Bills. Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida, is still out there. Darnell Washington, the tight end from Clemson, is still out there. Luke Musgrave is out there. I'm expecting madness tonight, and it should be a lot of fun. Zach Charbonnet is out there. Tim from Irvine is texting me. It's Charbonnet time, and I told him he might want a Riesling, but he wants to go Charbonnet. Cody Mock, everyone's love affair there with Cody Mock. BJ Ojolari is still out there. The Northwestern guy, Adetomwe Adebawar, he's out there. Isaiah Foskey, Notre Dame. The South Carolina corners, Darius Rush, Cam Smith. The Utah corner, Clark Phillips, they're out there, let alone Will Levis and Hendon Hooker. And there's the big rub, right? Where are the Rams, right? Where are the Rams? What are they thinking? Because they're not going to compete. They're just not. And so when I did my last mock draft, I haven't posted many of them this year, but I did a mock draft where I just said, you know what, let's kind of get rid of some of these guys and let's get as many players as possible. I did a mock draft where I traded Van Jefferson and Tyler Higbee for multiple picks and had the Rams trade back for multiple picks. And I ended up with 16 draft picks to rebuild this roster that only has 45 players on it. And that's to fill out the roster because it's not going to compete this year. But you can fill out the roster this year, infuse next year because you got your full complement of draft picks. You're going to have 11 to 12 draft picks, plus a pick in every round, and then maybe be ready to rumble in 2025. But the hard part, there's going to be some interesting calls and some hard calls coming today. Is you got Hendon Hooker sitting there at 36. You got Will Levis sitting there at 36. And here's an interesting thing. As of right now, before any trade, Pittsburgh, they're at 32. They got Kenny Pickett. They're not making a pick. The Arizona Cardinals have 33, and they're doubling down on Kyler Murray. They drafted Paris Johnson. They're doubling down there. 34, Detroit is a possibility, but I would just see this as a wasted opportunity for the Lions in terms of, wow, could you imagine? They drafted an off-ball linebacker at 18. You know, they took Jahmyr Gibbs, a running back, at 12, but they won't address their maybe some of their interior issues in on the line. So I can't imagine them, but they might be a possibility. At number 35, Indy just took Anthony Richardson. They got Gardner Minshew. I don't see them investing in another quarterback at 35. And then you got the Rams at 36, who, whether they want to admit to their fan base or not, is in a rebuild, right? We're a third place team in 2023. Those teams that we're behind right now are going to be better in 2024 unless there's something catastrophic that happens. That might happen with the 49ers with some age and mileage, but the Seahawks are ascending. So is Matthew Stafford going to be the quarterback in 2025, right? So is this the Rams' best opportunity to take a quarterback? I really don't want I don't want Will Levis, especially at 36. And I have to admit, as much as I've honked for Hendon Hooker, I don't know, right? That's why I see the Rams trade back, get into the top between 40 and 50, trade back, accumulate picks, move some players on the roster that can be moved. Tyler Higbee is washed. Van Jefferson's in the last year of his contract. Move back and build some depth on a team that, at best, and if everything goes right, is only going to be a third place team this year that maybe can etch to 10 wins. And if they can etch that 10 win spot, maybe be a wild card team. Or let's start building for the future and stop kidding ourselves. And so, yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now. Okay, I think I want to get out of here right now. That's a longer show than I wanted to do, but it'll be fun tonight. I hope there's a lot of trades. I would not mind trading up for Joey Porter, but I hope the Rams make a lot of trades and accumulate a bunch of draft picks. And if they do, I'm going to be unbearable to live with because I'm going to ask you to say my name. All right. God bless. Take care. We will talk to you likely tomorrow morning. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.